Welcome to the Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Fit, the all-in-one AI-powered corporate wellness platform developed by Vantage Circle.
In business and leadership, it is clear why emotional intelligence is so important. Today, in the increasingly diverse world, EQ is a necessary tool for providing professional and personal solutions to people of different circumstances and needs. It is also said that some of the most successful and influential leaders in the history have had high emotional intelligence, such as Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, Winston Churchill, and Warren Buffett. Hello and welcome to another episode of Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. I am your host Parishmita, and we have today Mr. Vasant Agarwal, who will be speaking on the topic, the need for emotional intelligence in corporate leaders. Vasant Agarwal is the director at Discovery My Heart, a Lifeskills platform, and author of several books, including The Power of Emotional Intelligence and Parenting with Emotional Intelligence. Hello and welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to sharing my views with your audience.
So, shall we begin with the first question?
Yes. Could you ask it so that I can respond?
Yes.
Can you just...
Yes. So, how would you define emotional intelligence in a leader? And why is emotional intelligence a matter of importance today?
Okay. I would like to begin with introducing myself. My name is Vasant Agarwal. I've lived in America over 40 years, and I've come back to India to give back to my country. I got involved in emotional intelligence 7-8 years ago. I learned a lot by meeting people and counselors and educationists and mental health people. And I saw that there was a big need for education and awareness on emotional intelligence. Most people in India are unaware of the value proposition. They don't know what is emotional intelligence. I was at a party recently and they asked me, "What do you do, Mr. Agarwal?" And I said, "I'm involved in emotional intelligence." And they said, "Ye kya nayi bimari hai? Is this some new illness?" So that goes to show you the problem that we have is that most people don't know the value of emotional intelligence. Now, what are emotions? A feeling becomes a thought. A thought then becomes an emotion. An emotion then causes you to say or do something. That causes a reaction from the person that you're talking to. And then that causes you to react to that reaction, correct? So that is the flow of emotions. Now, many people say, well, how can you be intelligent if you're emotional? and that is, no. What is emotional intelligence? Let me clarify that for you. There are 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. The first is self-awareness. Who am I? What am I? What am I doing here? What are my goals in life? The second is self-regulation. How to identify your emotions and how to manage them. The third is empathy and compassion. We lack empathy and compassion in our daily lives, in how we deal with people. And the fourth is relationship management. How do you manage your relationships, whether at home or at work or the world around you? So those are the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. Now, I have spoken to, unfortunately, in India, again, sorry I love my country, but I've spoken to many executive vice presidents of human relations, HR, senior executives. And I asked them, how do you do your employee evaluation for a new job applicant? And they said, by experience and by their qualifications. So I asked them, I said, don't you do an EQ assessment? Don't you do a personal profiling of the applicant to see if they're suited for the job? And said, no, we don't. So I said, you spend lakhs of rupees to hire somebody. Then you spend lakhs of rupees to train them. Then you find out that they're not suited for the job. Then you fire them. And then you hire somebody else. And you have to train them again. So why not do an EQ assessment profiling in the very beginning? And said, oh, Mr. Agarwal, we need your help. And, do you have a program? And I said, yes. So I just want people to know that I'm here to help. I'm here to educate and make people aware that if they follow the basic principles of emotional intelligence, it's also called emotional learning. It's also called social emotional learning, or SEL. And I've written 3 books on the subject. My website is discovermymind.com, and my profile is on LinkedIn. So going back to leadership, what is leadership? Leadership is about inspiring people. You cannot motivate somebody and then inspire them. You have to inspire them first and then motivate them. So basically, leadership is, I think you agree.
Absolutely, yes.
So leadership is very important function, and it doesn't just apply to corporate India or corporate world. It applies to leadership even at home. As a parent, how do you lead your child to achieve their maximum potential? So the basics are identifying and understanding the emotions of yourself and that of others. Basically, it means how to say thank you, how to say sorry, how to say, how can I help you? That is emotional intelligence. And so long as we practice that in all walks of life, we will find that we will be successful. Now, emotional intelligence also impacts your personality. Again, in terms of evaluation, I'm talking about leadership. In the US, again, when a job applicant comes, they give 30% marks for EQ assessment, 30% for experience, 30% for education qualifications, and 10% for personality. So that makes up your mosaic for employee hiring, let us say. Now, again, I know thousands of coaches who give seminars and lectures on leadership to corporate India. And I asked them, I said, do you talk much about emotional learning, emotional intelligence at all? And the answer was almost none. None do. It's all rah, 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 stand up and cheer and all that. But at the end of the day,
yeah,
what basic knowledge did you impart? What's something that your audience doesn't already know? They sit there and say, let me work on my mobile. And they're not really absorbing or learning from the process. And I'm not putting down coaches and trainers. I'm just saying that an important part of the coaching should be addressing the issue of managing one's emotions. Anyway, long answer, but any further expansion I can do?
I actually agree with you. Like when you said the 4 pillars, about the 4 pillars, this third and the fourth pillar, empathy, and managing co-relations with co-workers, everything,
Correct.
or other with the other person. I think these are very much crucial in today's time. And when we are talking about, emotional intelligence in a corporate setting or a workplace or in leaders. So I think those 2 points have been raised a lot in today's time because we need them.
Yes, I agree. Particularly as it leads to group team relationships. Unless each individual must learn how to work as a team, not simply as an individual.
Yes.
So yes, you're right. I'm not saying that, but as a specific subject matter was what I was saying. Yeah.
So coming to the next question.
Yeah.
Mr. Vasant Agarwal, how do leaders increase or use their emotional intelligence at work?
Well, it all depends on the individual, right? Many leaders are not interested essentially in the well-being of their employees. They are interested in performance, in output, in results, and how that is achieved is secondary. And the way to achieve it is with understanding what the employee needs, what they want, what are they happy with, what are they unhappy with, and again, showing that empathy and compassion. See, that's very important because every employee is looking to their leader for guidance, for inspiration, for learning and improving. Leadership is a very complex business. It is a very complex task. It's a very complex responsibility. And all I can say is that having a good leader, somebody that inspires you, motivates you, recognizes you, and appreciates you and your work is essential for a company's performance overall. And if each team leader, if each of the vice presidents or whatever espouse this and follow this, then obviously the performance is going to be outstanding.
Actually, leaders really define the workplace. It is a leader who is responsible for the workplace setting, or what we say, the outlook, the outer appearance. It all depends upon the leader. So I agree with you, sir.
Right.
What does emotional intelligence in leadership look like in a corporate setting?
I have to say that I wish it was more employed. I wish it was more followed. I wish that it was recognized as an essential part of management. What is leadership? It's management of people, of resources. And so, it's something that is lacking. And I don't want to repeat my concern, but I do believe that there is a need, and it is growing in India. More and more corporate vice presidents of HR, more and more. In fact, the Indian Railways is doing investment for their employees of India. I mean, they've realized the value of AI. So corporate India is certainly somebody that should seriously take a look at it. And I don't know. By the way, even in education, school counselors don't know anything about emotional intelligence. I have 22 or 24,000 connects on LinkedIn. 8,000 are mental health professionals. 6 years degree in psychiatry. And their curriculum doesn't have anything significant on emotional intelligence. So there is a overall need. It is the need of the hour. And certainly corporate India would benefit from it. That's my thought.
Absolutely. Nowadays, to learn emotional intelligence or whatever on the related subject, you have to be in a business school. But actually, we should have been taught in our school itself. It is an important subject we should have begun from the school level itself, right?
No. Again, in academia, most major universities in India do not have anything, any subject matter discussion on emotional intelligence. In fact, at Harvard University, the most popular course is their course on happiness, which has to do with emotional intelligence. This is the most popular course at Harvard University. Not nothing happiness. So that is what emotional intelligence is all. It's all about happiness.
Yeah.
That is the core essence of emotional, how to be happy, how to make others happy, how to improve your career, your success, how to maximize your own potential, how to improve your personality. I mean, it starts with being aware of your emotions and that of others. So I can't stress that enough.
Yes. So what is the role of an emotionally intelligent leader in creating a positive work culture?
Well, there you said it. It leads to a positive culture within your organization. If you as a leader are emotionally caring, aware, emotionally knowledgeable, then obviously you will impart that not in any real terms, but in your behavior, in the way you approach a problem or a employee that is dissatisfied or that is not performing to their potential. So how do you deal with it? I mean, you have to get beneath the you didn't have enough sales, or you didn't perform your duties, and you didn't give the results and the profitability to the company. That's not it. It's to understand why. And emotional intelligence is not, it's about how you think. It's not about what you think. It's about how you think. So in terms of management, the leadership has to do with management, right? So in terms of management of your staff, your employees, if you can reach out to them with empathy and compassion, both go together. If you can understand the psychoanalysis, the background, why an employee is unhappy or why they're not performing, you have to get below the surface to understand. If you do that, then you'll find the solution. You'll find the answer.
Yeah. So this is where the picture, this is where employee recognition and employee well-being come into the picture.
There you go. It's all about employee well-being. You just said it.
Yeah. So, sir, can emotional intelligence leadership provide better corporate wellness solution as we are talking about this?
Obviously, it will provide. It will provide for a better management scenario. It will enhance employee performance and satisfaction and loyalty, and so there is no doubt in my mind that if the basic principles of EI are employed, and they will yield positive results.
So coming to the last question, would you like to share some valuable suggestion to our listeners?
Yes, I'll give you a very, very small example. It's relevant. Andre Agassi, one of the best tennis players in the world. When he was 2 years old in his crib, his parents tied a tennis ball across the crib and they tapped the ball, and they used to watch the ball movement. And that is emotional intelligence at its very basic level. And he became one of the best tennis players in the world. At that age, he learned the movement of the ball.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that's where it starts. Emotional intelligence does not start when you're 30 or 40. It starts growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Your IQ remains constant all your life. It is your EQ, your emotional quotient, that develops. Most people don't know this. They think if you have a high IQ, if by getting another degree, a PhD, that your IQ will improve. Your IQ does not improve. It is the same as with the day you were born. It is your EQ, your emotional quotient, that gathers and picks up speed and improves rapidly as you go. And it goes on to age 55, 60. So there is no one time to learn about emotional intelligence. It's a inborn, ingrown process. And that is the beauty of it.
So is it a lifelong process?
Yes.
And that is how it contributes our well-being.
That is correct. And more importantly, the well-being of others. What we don't recognize or understand or deal with is that it's not just our well-being. It is the environment that you are in, your workers, your family, their well-being. So if you are emotionally intelligent, you'll make sure that they're happy. Because at the core of it all, it has to do with happiness. Nothing else. Nothing else. That's all we want in life, is to be happy. That's all.
So can we conclude like an emotionally intelligent leader is a successful leader?
I know one thing, that the people that report to him or her will be successful. Whether he himself is successful or he will be successful by the success of others, right? So that will translate into his own success.
Yes.
But it is something that it is, so near and dear to my heart. And I am so happy that I've come back and that I'm able to talk to, counselors, teachers, educationists, mental health people, psychiatrists. I have such a vast network across the world. In fact, I've set up a group on LinkedIn called Emotional Intelligence Alliance. It has 4,500 members within a year, all dedicated to emotional intelligence. Emotional Intelligence Alliance, if you go to LinkedIn. So I'd welcome people to join the group. It is a huge Wikipedia of articles, of videos, of content being shared by people across the world on the subject. There is no such platform. So I'm sorry, there is a couple, but they're US based, basically.
So our listeners will definitely reach out to you, sir. So thank you so much for your time and patience.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure.
And it was a pleasure hosting you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. All the best.
Thanks for listening to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. Please do subscribe to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.